did Jeffrey Epstein mean when he said you knew about the girls? If the Epstein case is a hoax, why are you calling for more investigations?
Before I read the political theater back and forth between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump, I just want to ask, how is it that people still don't see the controlled opposition WWE wrestling kayfabe inside of the red team of the uniparty state? I mean, the political predator theater still continues, right? And nothing has changed at all. I mean, the needle hasn't even moved. Can you really help light the fire like MTG did and then complain about the smoke? I mean, look how emotionally vested people are in this. We're just geared and indoctrinated to just take a side. You're not alone. Stand firm. We're with you, MTG. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood. Brian Krasenstein, this is sickening. Trump is a monster. Violence is never okay. And we're going to read MTG's post here in a second. Praying for you. Vince Langman, of course, says this is your future. You're going to be defeated politically. And of course, we can always rely on X's biggest Donald Trump sycophant, Cat Turd, who says it's impossible to express how desperate and pathetic this is. Go see a shrink, he says to Marjorie Taylor Greene as he posts an excerpt. Even pedo protector from the Lincoln Project, Rick Wilson, says, welcome to the resistance. In one post, Marjorie Taylor Greene writes, President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send these text messages today. Apparently, this is what sent him over the edge. The Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me hard to make an example to scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files. It's astonishing, really, how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out that he actually goes to this level. But really, most Americans wish he could fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, are going broke trying to feed their families, and are losing hope of ever achieving the American dream. That's what I voted for. I have supported President Trump with too much of my precious time, too much of my own money, and fought harder for him even when almost all other Republicans turned their back and denounced him. But I don't worship or serve Donald Trump. You could have fooled us. I worship God. Jesus is my Savior, and I serve my district, GA14, and the American people. I remain the same today as I've always been, and I will continue to pray this administration will be successful because the American people desperately deserve what they voted for. So what does this do? This continues to perpetuate the left versus right paradigm lie and keeps the voting slaves on the plantation as they consent to the chains of their own oppression. Marjorie Taylor Greene is part of this. Donald Trump is part of this. Thomas Massey's part of this. Rand Paul's part of this. All the Democrats, all the Republicans are part of this uniparty system and this squabble between Team Red, as sparked by the MAGA base and the desire for some to release the Epstein files no matter who it damages and harms. Because, we wouldn't want to damage or harm any billionaire pedos or anything, right, Donnie? On Truth Social, Donald Trump is calling her Marjorie Traitor Greene, that she's a disgrace to our great Republican Party. He says, I'm withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of the great state of Georgia. Over the past few weeks, despite my creating record achievements for our country, including a total and complete victory on the shutdown, closed borders, low taxes, no men in women's sports or transgender for everyone, ending DEI, stopping Biden's record-setting inflation, I'm still feeling some pretty bad effects of the inflation that Donald Trump and Joe Biden kicked off. I don't know about you. Biggest regulation cuts in history, stopping 8 wars, rebuilding our military, being respected by every country in the world as opposed to being the laughingstock that we were just 12 months ago, having trillions of dollars, record-setting, invested in the USA, and having created the hottest country anywhere in the world from being a dead country just 12 months ago, and so much more. All I see wacky Marjorie do is complain. It seemed to all begin when when I sent her a poll stating that she should not run for senator or governor, she was at 12% and didn't have a chance unless, of course, she had my endorsement, which she wasn't about to get. She has told many people that she is upset that I don't return her phone calls anymore. But with 219 congressmen and women, 53 U.S. senators, 24 cabinet members, almost 200 countries, and an otherwise normal life to lead, I can't take a ranting lunatic's call every day. I understand that wonderful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia, that they too are fed up with her and her antics, and if the right person runs, they will have my complete and undying support. She has gone far left, even doing The View with her low IQ, Republican-hating anchors. But he wasn't done yet. He says lightweight Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Brown, green grass turns brown when it begins to rot, betrayed the entire Republican Party when she turned left, performed poorly on the pathetic View, and became the rhino that we all know she always was. Just another fake politician, no different than Rand Paul Jr., Thomas Massey, who got caught being a full-fledged Republican in name only, a rhino, make America great again. And because the WWE Dog and Pony Show under the political big top wouldn't be complete without rhetoric from Air Force One, here's Trump fielding a question about Marjorie Taylor Greene mid-flight.
Sir, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Congresswoman, was on CBS News. She was talking about how the files should be released. We anticipate that a vote will happen in the House. I know you wrote about the investigation today.
I don't care about it, released or not. What I think you should do, if you're going to do it, then you have to go into Epstein's friends. This Reid Hoffman spent a lot of time on the island. I was never on his island. Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. You're going to have to look into his friends because, if they're going to do that, and I think the perfect guy to do it would be Southern District, somebody like Jay Clayton. I understand that's who's been assigned.
But does the Congresswoman have a point, though?
Does Marjorie Taylor Greene have a point?
Does she have a point, though?
I know nothing about her.
On the release of the files, all the files.
Well, they can have whatever they want. They already do. I think they have 50,000 pages already. Look, this is a Democrat hoax. This is a hoax put out by the Democrat, and a few Republicans have gone along with it because they're weak and ineffective. But this is a Democrat hoax to get away from the fact that they just lost the shutdown and they've lost the election. Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years. But he also saw strength because I was president. So he dictated a couple of memos to himself. Give me a break. You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase.
Sir,
Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Go ahead.
Incriminating in the files,
Venezuela,
sir.
sir.
Why are you acting as a...
Quiet, McGee.
Yeah, he doesn't like talking about anything incriminating in the files for some reason. But Trump's not done stepping in it yet. Here's how he responded when asked if he was still considering a pardon for convicted child pedo and trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell.
Mr. President, have you ruled out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
I haven't even thought about it. I mean, I haven't thought about it for months. Maybe I haven't thought about it at all. You're just asking me a
Why can't
question.
you rule it
But I
out?
don't talk about that. I don't rule it in or out. I don't even think about it.
An answer other than hell no, she's not going to get a pardon, and I'm going to make sure she doesn't get a puppy or preferred treatment or good food. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about putting her in a supermax where she belongs. Anything other than those answers, don't they kind of make you wonder what the hell's going on? Or do we kind of know already? And then Trump was asked why his administration would encourage pro-MAGA Republicans not to continue pursuing the disclosure of the Epstein files.
Why was your team encouraging Congresswoman Boebert and Congresswoman Mace to not pursue
Because
this?
we think it's bad to talk about it because it gets away from the subject of how well the Republicans are doing. We have the greatest economy. We have the largest investment ever made in our country's history. We have all of these great things happen. We have very little inflation. whereas he had record-setting, the biggest inflation in history. All of these things are good. And when you talk about the Epstein hoax, what happens is you're not talking about how well we've done.
Mr. President,
And that's the whole purpose behind them. They want to waste people's time, and some of the dumber Republicans like that.
See, we can't talk about the Epstein hoax, even though I've gotten with the DOJ to tell them that they need to pursue looking in to see who else this can implicate. Because if we start talking about that, then that's going to just keep us from talking about all the great things I'm doing. I mean, look at your food prices. They're so low right now. Everything's affordable for everybody. Hello, Argentina? Oh, you need 40 billion more? Sure, I'll get right on it. Then Trump uses the old faux news talking point that if they had something on him in the Epstein files, they would have definitely used it before the election.
I will say this. If they had anything, they would have used it before the election. Okay? I can't tell you what they put in since the election. But if they had anything, you don't think they would have used it before the election? They would have gladly used it before the election.
Not necessarily, Donnie, because the long play here is the survival of the predation machine. Exposing the entire client list could delegitimize the entire ruling class. And nobody in the halls of power wants that. Donnie knows it, the Democrats know it, the ruling powers, banking masters and corporate elitists behind the curtain know it, and people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie know it. She says, I'm now being contacted by private security firms with warnings for my safety as a hotbed of threats against me are being fueled and egged on by the most powerful man in the world. The man I supported and helped get elected. You should have known he was going to do this to you, Marge. I mean, what did you expect from a guy you knew was bought out by the Rothschilds banking cartel back in the 1990s with Rothschilds banking employee Wilbur Ross, and then 25 years later, during Trump's first term, he makes Wilbur Ross, that same Wilbur Ross, the Commerce Secretary, and then fills the entire swamp with swamp things, and here you are after he pens the biggest power and wealth transfer in the history of the United States, the history of the world, and you still led your constituency to vote for this guy, to support him, to help get him elected. How could you not think that he would do this to you when he's doing this kind of stuff to everybody else? You guys are on the same team. You guys suck. Aggressive rhetoric attacking me has historically led to death threats and multiple convictions of men who are radicalized by the same type of rhetoric being directed at me now. This time by the President of the United States. As a woman, I take threats of men seriously. I now have a small understanding of the fear and pressure the women who are victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his cabal must feel. Well, guess who part of his cabal is? It's the very guy you supported and helped elevate to the puppet president position where he could be controlled by the very banksters who are now controlling and have controlled the entire show since 1913. As a Republican, Marjorie continues, shouldn't she just say as an American? When you're saying as a Republican or as a Democrat, you're basically saying as a pawn of the uniparty system, which masquerades itself as a two-party system, who overwhelmingly votes for President Trump's bills and agenda, his aggression against me, which also fuels the venomous nature of his radical internet trolls, many of whom are paid. This is completely shocking to everyone. Really? It's really shocking? That's just a lie. My phone is blowing up with constant, amazing support. I'm so thankful. The political industrial complex, which you're a part of, which Donald Trump is a part of, which Kamala Harris is a part of, which Joe Biden is a part of, which Eric Swallowwell and all of the Democrats and Republicans are a part of, the political industrial complex, which is evil, which does horrible things to Americans. The political industrial complex and the toxic, violent nature of American politics must end. I agree. The toxic and violent nature of American politics must end. Politics is essentially and naturally divisive. Politics is poison. Politics is violence. Politics is coercion. It's theft. Matter of fact, you have a monopoly on force and violence. You're a part of the political theater. Our country is worth saving, and it can only be done if we pull together and save ourselves. In other words, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is not saying this because she doesn't believe it, we need to dissolve Washington's district of corruption, Washington's district of criminals, Washington's district of psychotic, parasitic, banker-bought puppets. It needs to be completely disbanded. And it won't be as long as people continue to believe this crap. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you want to support the channel, you can do it for free by liking this video, sharing it with everybody you know, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon. If you want to support the channel further, grab a shirt, become a channel member. But more importantly, understand that the government that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump and all the Democrats are involved in is the armed, parasitic, psychopathic, violent gang that you were afraid would take over in the absence of government. Does that make any sense to you? I'll see you in the next video.